Hey, campers! Hey, campers, and welcome back to Camp Insomnia.
Yes, the camp of the no sleeping. Hello.
Yes, no sleepy, no camp. I mean, camp.
Wait,
what?
yes, camp. Yes, camp.
I am your head camp counselor, Zach.
And I am your other head camp counselor, Dolores.
Yes, and welcome back. And I know what we haven't done in a while is say welcome to new people. So if this is your first episode, welcome to a very chaotic and fun, silly podcast.
Yes. Yes, hi, welcome. It's very chaotic, very silly, very dysfunctional family that we are.
yes. And yeah, welcome to our paranormal and true crime podcast. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So for the campers that do know us, hello. I have some cool news. I figured out that I leave July 2nd to Canada. I'm leaving Canada. I'm on my way.
We'll be counseling from distant camp.
Yeah, from distant camp. Yeah.
Out of country camp.
Out of country camp. Canadian camp.
Yeah.
Hey.
Ayo.
Ayo. Anyways, so yeah, I'm really excited. Also, another really big thing today is that today's our 30th episode.
Oh my God, 30 episodes.
30. I think every time we get to like a 10 number, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 will be a big one.
Uh-huh.
That's just really cool. Today's the 30th episode, and I've got a really cool story for you campers today. Dolores laughed at it last.
Yeah, I was like,
I told her about
it's a town with no eggs. Like, what the hell? What kind of shenanigans is that?
Yeah, I know it sounds really funky and weird, but I promise you, it's really freaky.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's just hop into it.
Okay.
Because it's gonna be pretty long.
All right. I'm down for it.
I want all you campers to let's gather around the campfire.
And let's go ahead, get cozy, snuggle up, grab a blankie. And tip for camp. Since I have no goddamn context on this, I'm just gonna shoot my shit and pray it sticks.
Okay.
Ooh, what's that phrase? Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Isn't that how it goes?
I don't know what kind of farmer southern person you were talking to that told you that.
Yeah, you've never heard of that phrase before?
That sounds like something I would hear in Oklahoma. No, I've never heard that. Don't count your chicken.
It means like don't get ahead of yourself, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if that applies to this, but that's a good tip.
Well, screw it. You're talking about eggs. I'm gonna think about chickens and shit. So you know what? that's just my life advice then. Okay. Forget it.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you for the tip.
Yeah, you will.
I'm not gonna try to get ahead of myself on this story.
Right.
But campers. So this I've titled this "The Town with No Eggs." Basically, this I thought it was. I don't know why. I thought it was a Reddit thread. It's not. It's a Twitter thread.
Oh wow,
so
that's not a common thing. Okay.
No, so it took me a while to actually find the Twitter thread. I had to do a lot of digging because I remember hearing the story. I couldn't remember where I heard it or what I heard it from. So I'm typing in Google, a town that has no eggs in a small town. Town. No eggs exist. Existing no eggs in a town. That's creepy. And I finally found it.
Well, you had to do a lot of digging on that one.
Yeah, I really did. And Google was like, what the fuck are you asking me?
Your FBI agent is like, is he okay? Does he need some protein in his life?
Yeah, literally. I think I should mail him some eggs. Is this town out of them?
Oh my God, imagine just a freaking carton of eggs just lands on your door.
I would probably with the story I'd be really freaked out.
Oh God, here we go. Okay then.
So if you want to find the Twitter thread, the user's name is @Gregory88, but Gregory is spelled GR, the number 3, GORY88.
I kind of want to. Can I follow along with this one?
Yeah, you can. It's kind of hard because sometimes you have to click something that shows more of the thread. It looks like he comments on a lot of he'll post something, like an update, but then he'll keep replying to that one, so you have to open up that small thread of another thread of another thread. Oh. So it took me a while to get it all.
Fuck it.
Dolores is like, never mind. So I'm gonna read everything verbatim from the thread. So think of this as like a retelling for you campers, and also for Dolores, it's just a retelling. Mm-hmm. Ooh, oh, who dying?
Oh shit, you can hear that?
Yeah.
Welcome to Long Beach.
Who needs Jesus? Yeah, welcome to Long Beach, California. Damn, that siren is wailing.
I am sorry.
They're on it. No, it's fine. It's fine. So just like the siren, it's very scary. Well, this is also a very scary paranormal story.
Wow, what a sign.
And I'm really excited to read this to you guys because it's a lot different from what we normally do in terms of like paranormal stuff. Because I mean, we did that Reddit thread with like the forest. We haven't done like a Twitter one yet, so that's gonna be really cool.
Okay.
Right. So the story starts off with who we're gonna call the Reddit user Gregory. We're just gonna call him Greg.
Okay.
For now. Instead of Gregory88. Greg's grandfather passes away, and Greg is now left with his house, right?
Okay.
So that's where we're starting off at. So let's get into reading everything verbatim.
Okay.
I guess I should start at the beginning. This isn't really my house. It was my grandpa's, and I guess it's mine now. He died a couple months ago, and because of some tricky paperwork, I'm apparently responsible for it now. He lived pretty far away, up in the mountains by a lake. There are a couple other houses down the road, but they seem like they're empty for the season. I assume they're like summer houses. I've been here for a few days, and it's really pretty, but it's super quiet and chilly. My mom never really talked about my grandpa, and I only met him once, when I was like really young. I thought they had a bad relationship, but the few times I asked about it, she got annoyed and changed the subject. So they probably didn't have like a really good relationship. So basically, I don't really know what I'm doing here. This guy from my grandpa's estate basically told me the house is mine now, so I came up here to sell it as fast as I can and go home. I guess it's not that easy to just sell a house, especially one in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, fair.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, so at any rate, I think I'm alone up here, or at least I thought I was. I figured I'd be up here for a couple weeks to get this all handled, and then I'd go home and just be done with it. I'm on a break from grad school, so I don't have any other responsibilities at this moment. Must be nice. But now weird things are starting to happen. It started on my third day here. There's a little town about 25 minutes away, and I'd gone to get some food supplies since I didn't know how long I'd be staying. When I got back that evening to the house, there was something strange on my door. So if you look at the pictures I sent you, in section 1, you'll see the pictures.
All right, so we'll do it this way.
Yeah. So he says this. It was this artifact. I don't know what to call it. It was obviously handmade. It was made of sticks and twine and had some small bones tied into the middle of it. So for the listeners, Dolores is looking at it, and I'll post this on our Instagram at campinsomnia_podcast. For the listeners, it kind of looks like a triangle made out of twigs, and it's tied together with twine. And they're like small animal bones, like a small possum skull and like teeth that were like tied to the center of it and also on some of the sticks. That's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, there's some
so he took these
feathers
pictures
too.
Yeah, and there are feathers on it. Yeah, so he says, I didn't think too much of it at the time. I figured it was probably a kid from one of the other houses trying to mess with me, so I took it off the door and tossed it into the fireplace. Yeah, which now thinking about it, I'm like, this random creepy trinket, and you're just gonna burn it? I don't know if that's such a good idea.
See, I just saw Conjuring 3. I'm not gonna give any context about the movie, but like, I don't think it's supposed to burn stuff like that. Exactly. So by the next morning, I'd pretty much forgotten about it, and honestly, I had too much on my plate at the moment to worry about some kid's prank. So I got up that morning, made some breakfast, and went out on the deck with some coffee. I was sitting there drinking my coffee when I noticed something hanging in a tree just over the railing. It was another one of those artifacts. It was just like the last one, but it had a rock tied to it instead of a bone. And then almost immediately I saw another one in a farther tree down on the ground.
I went down the deck steps to retrieve it, and I started seeing even more of them. I found about 8 in total, hanging in trees all around the house. Which is terrifying, now that you think about it. You walk outside, and all of a sudden, it's like, it kind of reminds me of like Blair Witch, where all of a sudden there's like those thousands of like hanging like stick people things. It's probably what it looked like.
Or like any Dead by Daylight fans, but like when the hag comes out and makes her ruins everywhere.
Yeah,
that's almost what it looks
basically.
like too.
So they had all different objects tied to them, bones, feathers, that sort of thing. It was definitely weird, but I was more annoyed than anything, thinking that someone was in my yard decorating my trees with these ugly goth Christmas ornaments.
What a good description,
what
actually.
No, literally, like what a mood. Also, if someone was trying to scare me, it was going to take more than some bullshit arts and crafts project to do the trick. God damn. I gathered all the artifacts together and burned them just like the first one. So he just burned them all. So after I disposed of all the stick things, I took a shower, got dressed, and went back outside to do some basic tidying and whatnot. The deck and the yard are sort of overgrown, and leaves are starting to fall and cover everything. Being a new homeowner is a lot of work, turns out, especially when it just is for free. I mean, unfortunately, his grandpa died to get it. Besides the point.
It's always stressful though in those kind of situations, because it's like you just literally got left with a shit ton of work that you didn't ask for. It's very unfortunate.
And then two, he never knew his grandpa.
Yeah, so it's like, well, I guess this is a thing now.
Yeah. So as he's doing all this yard work, that was when I found something that actually did make me nervous. I was raking the corner of a yard when I saw something dark on the ground off in the trees. I couldn't tell what it was from afar, so I went to investigate. At first, I thought it was a blanket, but when I got closer, it looked like a big sweatshirt or hoodie or something. I didn't want to touch it, but it was obviously clothing of some kind. I looked around and realized it was a whole encampment. There were a couple old socks, a pair of what I think was underwear, gross, a few old napkins scattered around, a plastic spoon, and creepiest of all, a beat-up notebook.
Oh, I see it.
You see it? Yeah, I flipped open the notebook, but nothing was written inside. A whole bunch of pages had been ripped out of it. So I know someone had been using it. Plus, you could sort of see shadow of pen marks on the most recent page. You know when you carve like really hard into like a piece of paper, you can see the indentation? I couldn't make out what had been written though. Anyway, that definitely freaked me out. It was clear someone was camping out on my property and possibly trying to scare me out of the house. I wasn't really sure what to do about it though. Like, what could I do? I definitely didn't sleep well that night. That was the day before yesterday. The next morning, I sort of expected some more weird artifacts outside, but I didn't see anything. And the encampment was gone. So I figured that it was probably a homeless person passing through or something. Okay. Which is still unsettling.
Yeah, regardless.
To all of a sudden, you go to your backyard and you find someone's living there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden made you a bunch of goth Christmas ornaments to hang around your house. So that's a lot. But hey, at least they're gone, right? He packed up all his stuff, and whoever this person was, this homeless or this stranger, is gone.
I mean, I guess.
I guess. Yeah, exactly. Took all his arts and crafts with him. Yeah. So the next day, the driveway ends a ways up from the house. And then you have to trek down a path which bends around the side of the house to get in. So it's still a really long way to get to the house.
Bougie.
Think of my driveway.
Yeah, bougie.
I was walking around the house when I saw some movements across the yard near a tree. I froze dead in my tracks. Someone was standing under a tree staring at my house.
Ew.
They didn't see me though, since I was also partly behind some trees and a good distance away. Whoever it was, they were wearing the same dark hoodie I had seen in the grass the day before. As quietly as I could, I set down my shopping bags next to me and slipped my phone out of my pocket. I managed to take a couple photos, but the person turned and disappeared into the woods.
Why wouldn't you have 911 ready to go just in case? It's a trespasser.
He'd rather take a picture, I guess. But I sent you the picture. You see like a person in like, it's a photo of like a tree line, and there's a person in a black hoodie like in the brush. Do you see it?
I hate that. Ew, wait a minute. What's wrong with their face?
Yeah, we'll get to that. That's freaky, isn't it?
That's like, I can't even, no, I don't, nope. That's some Grim Reaper shit. He's gonna take his soul in 2 seconds.
Yeah, so I stood there a couple minutes, too nervous to move in case the person came back, but they didn't. So I picked up my bags and hurried inside. I picked up the phone to call the cops, but put it back down because I didn't even know what to tell them. Like, someone was looking at my house. Well,
someone
like,
was
the police
trespassing.
officer. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we know that, but he didn't say that. Anyways, so he says, like, the police officer wouldn't take me seriously, and like an idiot, I destroyed all the weird artifacts from before, so there wouldn't be any evidence. I felt like there was nothing I could do right then. Which makes sense. He has no evidence. He can't.
That was dumb of him. It's just dumb. I get it. I get why he got rid of it, but it's like, now this would have been the time to be like, hey, this dude's trespassing. I found all these weird creepy things, and like, you know, because that's like serial killer shit too, you know.
No, that is, and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
This random person's on your property, but he didn't do that.
Dumbass.
So he says, I was mad at myself and feeling scared all alone in the house, so I locked all the doors and left out the back. I went down to the lake because I didn't know where else to go. He just kind of wanted to leave, which is actually really smart of him to do. I just knew that I didn't want to be in the house at that moment. I mean, if this person's lurking, they could know that he's home and then break in, you know? So he snuck out the back, which is smart. So I walked a ways down the lakeshore, then I sat for a while looking out at the water. I thought about getting in my car and just going home, but I felt like that would get me in trouble. There's all sorts of property tax stuff that I don't understand, and I just felt trapped, which is what we talked about. Remember, he's just given this.
Yeah.
And he just has to deal with it for his mom. Also, I couldn't decide if I was actually in any danger. When my grandpa died, it took me a couple months to actually get up to the house. So maybe someone was squatting in the empty house. And now that I'm there, they just might leave on their own accord. Which I can understand that as a squatter, and the squatter's pissed trying to scare you out of the house, you know, if it's a squatter.
Yeah, I guess, someone on fucking drugs at that point.
Yeah, my drugs are in there, get out of there.
Yeah.
So it was starting to get dark, so I reluctantly headed back into the house. I walked up the stairs leading to the back of the house, but right before I got inside, I got this weird chill. I made up my mind that I absolutely did not want to stay in the house overnight. He just still got that weird vibe. So I decided to go to my car and drive into town to find a motel for the night. The house was all locked up and I already had my keys, so I went back around the house and toward the path that led to the driveway. And that's when I saw her. The figure from before. Remember the person standing in the woods? Standing right in the middle of my front lawn, staring straight at my house. I froze in place, completely in shock. I was practically right next to her.
Oh, hell no.
But it was almost as if she didn't see me. Then it hit me. She couldn't see me.
She's blind.
Because she had no eyes. She had no fucking eyes.
So he was close enough to see that, though. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a video, but wait a second. Just shiny skin over where her eyes should be, and she almost had no hair at all. I wanted to run, but I felt like if I moved even a little, she would hear me. As quietly as I could, I went for my phone. I needed some sort of evidence to show the cops. I all felt like it was happening in slow motion. I felt sick to my stomach as I'm writing this, but I was able to get it on video. My heart is racing just thinking about this. I haven't been able to watch it since I recorded it, but here it is. So, at the very bottom of the messages I sent you, there is a video link to YouTube where you can see this clip. And again, for you campers, it's posted on our Instagram. You guys can watch it. Oh God, Jesus Christ! What? You scared the shit out of me?
You didn't tell me there's a fucking jump scared it.
No. Shit. Oh my God, are you okay?
No, I'm not
Holy
okay.
shit.
I take ADHD meds. You trying to give me a heart attack? God damn.
So he ran back into the house and got inside. I scrambled upstairs and looked out my bedroom window at the front yard, but she had vanished. Remembering it now, it feels like it really didn't happen, like it was a nightmare or something. I called the cops and explained what had happened. I'm sure I sounded crazy, but they said they'd send someone by in the morning and to keep my doors locked. So that's where I am now, alone in the woods, freaking out. I know I won't be able to sleep tonight. I feel lightheaded and nauseous. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm scared shitless. Which Dolores is scared shitless right now.
I wasn't expecting her to fucking turn and fucking run towards the bitch. Oh my god. I was like, oh, she's just fucking staring off into the distance at nothing because you can't fucking see, but then she fucking turns like a goddamn predator, like in the night. It goes after his ass. By the way, side note, the one comment on this video, yap, I'm about to shit my pants.
Oh, I love that. That video is on our Instagram, so you guys have to check it out.
I'm done with my life.
So, here's an update. He posted an update. The past couple of days have been really strange. I also have shitty reception up here, so I'm sorry for not updating. They sent a police officer up yesterday morning, but I feel like it didn't accomplish anything. I explained everything to the cop, and even took him out to the clearing where I found the stuff, but it was all gone except for the notebook. And since the notebook is empty, and it was basically useless, I feel like the cop didn't believe me anyway. So, I showed him the photos I took of the stick things, and he said at worst it counted as vandalism, but without any physical evidence of trespassing, they couldn't do anything. Even when I showed him the video, he still acted very skeptical. Which, I mean, if he didn't burn anything and he kept it all, then maybe he would have been able to be more help, I guess.
But I mean, the cops, I hate to say it, but the cops do have a point. It's just vandalism at that point. It's not like any physical property was actually damaged.
Yeah.
But he has evidence on video of that woman standing on his property. So why wouldn't they maybe keep an officer, to scope out? I don't know. That's kind of dumb.
So he kept asking me if I knew the person in the video. I think he thought I was pranking him or something.
Oh God, of course.
I ended up just getting very frustrated. The cop said to call the station if anything else happened. So, after he left, I went back and got the notebook from the clearing. Maybe there's a way to figure out what was written on the last page.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. So anyway, the cop drove away, and I was alone again. It's so damn quiet up here. All I want to do is leave, but I feel like I can't. I'm so far away from home that I can't even invite a friend up here to keep me company. And even if someone did come, it would take them a couple of days. I haven't seen the woman from before, but I feel like she's still out there. And other weird things are happening too. I took a walk around the lake yesterday because I wanted to get a look at the other houses in the area, maybe see if someone else has noticed anything else that was weird. But they're all empty. Every house is totally dark. There are no cars in any of the driveways. I haven't seen a single person at all except once. Well, sort of. After I came back from my walk, I was out on the deck and saw a boat in the water, way off in the distance. They weren't moving. They stayed there all afternoon, and I feel like they were watching me. They actually stayed out there in the same place until it got too dark to see them anymore. Normally, I think they were just fishing if it weren't for what happened from the day before. And the fact that all these houses seem empty, where did they come from? The boat was gone this morning, so who knows? I microwaved some oatmeal for breakfast and took it down to the dock near the water. It's weird, but I sort of feel safer down there. The water makes me feel less stressed, I guess. Which I can understand. Like, you hit like a waterfall, you're like, oh, relax.
Yeah, but
Oh,
he
pond,
just said
relax.
that there's fucking weirdos over there, so like, why would you want to still go over there?
Oh, I guess at this point they were gone. Maybe they were just like, just a bunch of weirdos, whatever, they're gone now.
Okay.
So he goes, I kind of feel like time goes by faster when I'm by the lake. It's like meditative or whatever. Anyway, I actually started feeling a little bit better about everything this morning if it wasn't for what happened next. Dolores. I had finished my oatmeal and was starting back toward the house when I noticed something in the water. It was in a little inlet by the shore. It was small and white, and at first I thought it was like a brightly colored rock, but I wasn't sure. It seemed too round. Probably against my better judgment, I took off my shoes and went in the water to retrieve it. It was an eyeball.
Oh, wait.
A fucking eyeball.
Is this in the pictures?
Yeah, it's in the pictures. This has to be from an animal, right? Please tell me this is from a big fish or something.
Oh, fuck no, it's not.
Yeah, that's an eyeball.
It's a straight up. Wow.
Eyeball. So I threw it back in the water and hustled back up to the house.
Why the fuck would you do that?
He went, chucked it in the water.
Stupid. I'm gonna just skip it now with the rest of the rocks, I guess.
Yeah.
Shit.
So I washed my hands in the sink and sat on the couch for a long time. I didn't know what was going on. I can't believe I picked it up out of the water. I still feel very gross. And to make matters worse, the boat was back out there. It showed up again this afternoon, and it's just sitting there in the same place as yesterday. Are they watching me from the boat? Which there is a picture I did send to you of the boat, of like the people out on the water.
So it looks like a couple people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were hella far out in the distance, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like you can barely even make out what the boat even looked like in the picture.
Yeah.
So he posted another update. I keep hearing these things at night. I stand out on the deck and I feel like I can hear things moving through the trees. It's probably just deer or something, but I can't help imagining it's something else, which makes sense. Mm-hmm. I'm sure I'm making it out to be worse than it is. Like, are deer nocturnal? I see them out on the road sometimes when I'm driving into town. I just try not to think about it. But last night, it was worse. I heard screams? Yeah, that sounds stupid to say, but I don't know what else to call it. I was brushing my teeth and heard something out of my bathroom window. I'm sure it was an animal, but my toothbrush was buzzing, so I can't be sure. And then this morning, I found bloody remains of something right in the middle of my yard. It was literal intestines, and they were fresh. I feel like I can't post something like this on Twitter. Like, it's gonna get flagged if I post it. I don't know what to do. Maybe I can upload it separately and share the link, which she did. I clicked the link, and Dolores is looking at it. I'm not gonna post it on Instagram, but it's literally like intestines with like little hornets, like covering it, and like it's intestines of something.
Yeah, but I'm like, I think it looks like animal remains because there's also, I don't know, is that fur around it? That black stuff?
Yeah.
Either way, that's either something devoured it, sacrifice, I don't know.
But he found it in the middle of his yard. Just plopped there.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice. So he says, fair warning, it's pretty gross. Don't look if you're squeamish. I'm sure it's an animal, but what did this and why was it left right in the front of my house? Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, it's disgusting. Anyway, I scooped it up with a shovel and flung them into the woods and away from the house. I don't know if bears are up here, but I couldn't believe it.
Why is he so stupid? This is all evidence. Why would you get rid of this shit?
I don't know, but he took a picture at least.
That's not gonna fucking help anything. His fucking video of a person in his yard didn't do anything.
Yeah, so
I'm mad.
So he's plugging into the woods. And besides, animal guts are the least of my worries right now. I have other things on my mind.
You don't know that.
I've been trying to
guts, fucking stupid ass.
I've been trying to figure out what's written in this notebook from the woods. I've had it for a couple days, and I can see faint letters, but I can't make them out. A bunch of people replied and told me to do a pencil and charcoal rubbing, but I didn't have anything like that. I found a bunch of pens, but no pencils, so I had to go back into town. It was actually really hard to find charcoal. I finally had some luck at this little hardware store. The box didn't even have a price tag on it, so I feel like it's just been sitting there on the shelf for years. It seems like people in town are starting to recognize me, and I don't like it. I didn't plan to be here that long, but it looks like I might not have a choice. People are nice enough, but it seems like the kind of town where everyone knows everyone, and I definitely don't belong. What's with the face?
I'm sorry, but is it because he's living this bougie life now in this bougie house? He has to go get a charcoal. He couldn't go get a goddamn number 2 pencil.
Well, remember this. His grandfather's house. I mean, it kind of, what it seems like, seems to be a lake house, and maybe it's just been empty this entire time, and it's pretty much been like gutted.
But I'm saying he went out to get charcoal. And he struggled to get charcoal. He just could have gotten a literal fucking pencil. That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry.
Well,
that just bothered me. I don't know why.
He had to get some frickin' charcoal. Instead of a pencil.
We learned this
and
in like
more
third
expensive.
grade. We learned this in third grade when we went
Yeah,
to the
he
aquarium.
could have just. Okay, we're getting off topic.
Sorry.
Anyways, he found himself some goddamn charcoal.
Okay.
So, when I was in the hardware store, these little kids were following me around, giggling and making fun of me. I think they were twins. I couldn't really hear what they were saying, but I'm pretty sure they were making fun of me because little kids are jerks. Fucking kids.
Mood.
So on the way out of town, I stopped at the grocery store, but they were out of some of the things that I wanted. It seemed like they're always out of stuff. They've been out of eggs for a couple days, so I just got some Pop-Tarts and stuff and left. That's not why I named it this. You'll see why later.
Okay.
Anyway, the notebook. I've actually been putting it off for most of the afternoon because I wasn't sure if I wanted to find out what the woman was writing in it, but I can't ignore it forever. I'm going to eat dinner, and I guess I'll try the charcoal. I'll be back in a bit. So then he comes back in a bit. Jesus. So I did the charcoal rubbing over the most recent page in the book, like people were telling me to do. I'm not sure what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. I'm sort of freaking out. So I sent you an image of the charcoal rubbing Dolores. And basically, campers, the charcoal rubbing shows that this blind woman wrote like 100 times on the page, "They took my eyes." You looking at it?
Oh my god.
Yeah, like thousands of times. They
that's
took
so
my eyes, they took my
morbid.
eyes, they took my eyes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah, so he has another update. I called my mom yesterday. I wanted to see if she knew anything about this place. She said, I've actually been here before when I was really young, but I don't remember any of that. So he's actually been there before. I tried to ask her again why she never got along with my grandfather, but she's so cagey about it. She grew up in the town nearby. My grandfather didn't move into this house until after my mom left for school. I guess she never really came back. We talked for a little bit, but my reception here is spotty. She asked me if there's still wine in the cellar, and I told her there wasn't a cellar, but she said there is. Down in the basement, off to the corner. After she hung up, I went downstairs to look, and she was right. There's a bunch of old antique stuff in the basement, and behind some filing cabinets, there's a dusty little wine cellar. I can't believe I missed it at first, but it's full of wine, and some of it's super old. Anyways, and look at some of these bottles. I didn't know anything about wine. I wonder if they're good. Anyway, I at least have a surplus of alcohol down here to take my mind off how weird things have been lately. So none of this makes sense, and there's something else I found out that I can't stop thinking about. There's so much junk around the house, and I'm trying to clean it up, partly because it'll help this place sell faster, but also to keep my mind off of things. So I was sorting through some debris and found some old rusty letters in a pile on the ground, partly under the foundation. I could see some nail holes on the side of the house, so I think they were on the house at some point. I know sometimes people give like lake houses names. I can't figure out what they might have said though. I brought them inside, laid them on the kitchen floor to see if I can make sense of them, but no luck so far. Maybe someone else can figure it out. So I sent you a picture of the wine cellar, and a picture of like the scattered like letters. Mm-hmm. They're like rusty metal letters that he found. Yeah. So there's that.
I was dying because this dude's fucking clueless. I'm sorry. He's fucking clueless. He's gonna get himself killed.
Yeah, he probably is, but hey, at least he'll get himself killed drunk off this old ass wine.
He wouldn't even know the fucking cellar was even there unless his mama told him, though. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm getting peeved by this man. He's making very dumb decisions.
So here's an update. I've mostly been trying to keep busy getting the house in shape to sell. A realtor is supposed to come here next week to help me like formally list it, which is good because I'd like to get out of here. But there's something weird about the town down the road that I can't figure out. I've been getting cabin fever pretty bad, so the other day I drove into town to have breakfast and wander around a little bit to get my mind off of things. There's only one restaurant in the whole town from what I can tell. I went in there to eat, and the whole experience was sort of bizarre. I'm not really sure how to explain it. Anyway, I ordered the Eggs Benedict off the menu. The waitress had a pretty chilly attitude, but nothing out of the ordinary. But when she brought out my food, they had totally forgotten the eggs on my Eggs Benedict. It was just ham and hollandaise.
What the fuck?
So I called the waitress back and told her she'd forgotten my eggs. And all she said was, "We don't have that." I asked how a diner could be out of eggs, especially this early in the day, and she just said, sorry, and walked away. It was weird. I was confused, so I took a second look at the menu, and I realized the description doesn't actually list eggs in the Benedict. And then I realized eggs aren't listed anywhere on the menu, even in the sides.
Yeah. Like Florentine, that's eggs. Benedict, eggs.
Yeah, none of it's listed.
That's so weird.
Yeah. So what kind of diner doesn't have eggs
That's
at all?
expensive. Well, I'm not going to pay fucking almost $16 for eggs Benedict with no eggs. The fuck? My ass is going to Denny's.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
So he goes, what kind of diner doesn't have eggs at all? True. The fact that what might make sense in a vegan restaurant or something,
yeah,
but they have meat all over the menu.
Then I'll pay that much for a fucking vegan plate.
Yeah, exactly. So also on my way out, there was this family in a booth sort of watching me leave. They were all being really quiet in a sort of like obvious way. They had 2 twin girls with them. I'm definitely not coming back here. So I was thinking about it the whole way home. There are too many things that just don't make sense. Mm-hmm. I don't feel any closer to figuring it out. But one thing seems clear. I'm not welcome here. So when I got home, I found something folded up and wedged in my front door near the handle. Someone clearly wants me gone. So in the note that was shoved in the door, the note says, leave. What?
I'm looking at it.
Oh, you're looking at it, yeah. So it just says leave. It was written on the back of like some a tag of some sort. Yeah. I suspect it was the eyeless woman from before. I haven't seen her, but I think she's still out there. I think something bad is coming. I'm gonna go pop another bottle of wine. I don't know what else to do right now. It's just a mood. He's like, I don't quite understand what's going on. I'm gonna drink some wine.
I mean, yeah, mood. Get drunk. Fuck it.
So another update. I saw something out in the woods today. I've been trying not to spend all my time at the house, since being cooped up all the time makes me feel crazy. Even though it might not be super safe to be out alone in the woods, it still feels better than being home all the time. God, I can't believe I referred to this place at home. I've been here too long. Anyway, I was taking a walk today. These woods would be so pretty if it didn't feel like someone was going to murder me out here. Mood. I was almost enjoying myself when I stumbled into a clearing and found something very strange. There was a single filthy chair overlooking a ledge. It didn't seem creepy at first, but I got this feeling, so I took out my phone and pulled up my Maps app. And sure enough, the chair was pointed in the exact direction of my house. It was probably a mile away from the house, but at that point, it still was weird.
That's so creepy.
Yeah, it made me feel queasy, and I didn't want to stick around, so I hustled over there, but I could barely walk 30 feet when I found something else. Something way worse. I don't even know how to describe it. So he finds more like totems like before. He finds like this, it's like on a rock, there's like a skull that has like this weird sigil that's underneath it in charcoal. Mm-hmm. They probably bought it at the same store. And there's some like teeth, and they kind of look like human teeth. I just realized what you said. They kind of look like human teeth, because they don't look like animal teeth to me. That are like scattered around this little, I don't know, artifact sigil thing on this rock.
They're shells.
Oh, they're shells. Oh, they look like
they're like little tiny shells.
Oh, okay.
It's like little tiny shells, and then the same sigil as the little wood piece, the stick pieces that were made. Some sort of giant animal skull, maybe like a bull or a cow.
Yeah.
And then a little figurine on top with another shell on top. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. So he stumbled upon that after seeing this creepy chair. So he says, it seems like every day there's something new, but I'm not closer to understanding what the heck is happening here.
Yeah.
Or why. I finally pulled myself away and practically stumbled away for the rock. I felt dizzy after walking away. I just wanted to go home. I started back in the direction of the house, and that's when I saw her. That woman from before. She was standing up on a hill, seemingly staring at nothing. I darted behind a nearby tree, but luckily, I don't think she saw me. I hadn't seen her in weeks, but I knew she was still out there. So I have the video. Let me say it to you.
I'm turning this shit down. I'm not fucking doing this shit again. That bitch yeeted towards the camera.
Yeah, and again, campers, the video is on our Instagram.
That is so disturbing.
Yeah, so he said, I took a video from behind the tree. I don't even know why. It's not like it's good, like it's going to do any good, but at least I have proof that I wasn't imagining any of this. Eventually, she left the hill and disappeared into the woods. Once I was sure she was gone, I left the tree and practically ran home. The whole way back, I kept expecting her to appear again and like attack me from behind or something. I don't understand what she's doing out here. Is she a witch? That sounds so stupid, but like I don't know how to explain any of this. These weird stick artifacts and now this thing on the rock, it just feels like fucking witchcraft or something. And who knows who's on the boat I keep seeing out there on the lake. Why is everyone in this town just so weird? At this point, I just want answers, and I feel like I'm getting close to getting them. I'm just scared of what it might be.
Secret cult. Secret cult. Yeah. I feel it.
So, update. I found out what those letters spell. I'd basically forgotten about it after finding them outside the house. I put them in the back of the closet and pretty much stopped thinking about them. But yesterday, I found something else. There was a little alcove upstairs with built-in shelves and a bunch of old books, sort of like a mini library. I was flipping through some of them while looking for something to read when I came across this little book about wine. Tucked inside were a couple of old Polaroid photos. They were pretty faded, so it was hard for me to make out what they were. The first one was pretty unremarkable. It looks like it's just photos of the trees outside. The second one was even blurrier. For a minute, I didn't know what I was looking at, but then I realized it was of the house and the letters I found in the ground a couple weeks ago. The photo was super fuzzy, so it took me a second to make it out. But basically, in the photo, it spells Deep Water Chapel, which I know you see. Yeah. This is so weird. I've never heard that name before. Was my house a church or something? I spent the afternoon going around and going through all the other books in the library, but I didn't find any other pictures. I didn't know what to make of this. I'll let you know if I find anything else, but yeah, I don't know. Weird. Deepwater Chapel.
It's a cult church. I feel it.
Cult. Okay, here's an update. She was here. That woman was in my house.
No.
All right, so I was in the woods out back yesterday when it started pouring. It happened really suddenly, and even though I wasn't far from the house, I got soaked anyway. It rained most of the evening. I left my clothes by the fireplace to dry and ended up going to bed early. Or I guess it was today. Sorry, I'm not really quite awake yet. Anyway, I had this awful dream tonight. Sorry if I'm rambling a bit. I'm still trying to collect my thoughts. Sorry, my hands are shaking. In the dream, I was on the deck outside with a bunch of friends from back home. We were sitting all in a circle. My friend Eric was there, talking about how creepy the woods were. He was saying how the trees were just big black silhouettes and anything could be out there watching you and you'd never know it. He was sort of freaking me out, and I was trying not to show it. I know what you're doing and it's not going to work. You're not going to scare me. Sounds like Dolores.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I try and call your ass out.
Yeah. And Eric sort of narrowed his eyes at me and says, I bet I can scare you. Something about the way he said it made me very uneasy. And I was like, all right, very funny. You can stop now. But Eric wasn't smiling anymore. He was just staring back at me. The whole mood seemed to shift at that point. Nobody in the circle was talking anymore. And suddenly it got really quiet. No sound except the wind and the lake down below. Any trace of joking had disappeared from Eric's face. After a long minute, he slowly cocked his head to the side a bit and said, "Is there something here with us right now who shouldn't be?" All of a sudden, I was too scared to break Eric's gaze, afraid to see something I didn't want to. For a long time, we just stared at each other. Nobody said anything. Then very softly, Eric said, "Is there somebody watching you sleep right now, Greg?" Then I bolted awake. It was the middle of the night. I was alone in my room, but I had this weird feeling that someone had just been there in the room with me. I laid there in bed for a minute, too terrified to move, too scared to even breathe. Then I heard something downstairs. At least I thought I did. The house is always making sounds, so I couldn't be sure. I hesitated for a second, then crept out of bed and went down the hall, trying to be as quiet as possible. From the second floor landing, I could see the living room and part of the kitchen. Everything seemed normal. I could hear the wind blowing pretty loudly outside, so I figured maybe I hadn't heard anything at all. I tried to calm myself down. I was wide awake at that point, too shaken to go back to bed, so I went downstairs to get a snack or some coffee or something. I walked into the kitchen, then stopped dead in my tracks. There's a door in the kitchen that leads outside, and it was wide open. I know I locked it. I lock all the doors every night, and even if I forgot to lock it, I know I wouldn't leave the door open like this. The whole kitchen floor was wet with rain. I'm calling a locksmith first thing in the morning to come change the locks. Shit. I want to leave, but I don't even know where to go. I'm alone out here. Should I find a motel? And I just realized my wet clothes by the fireplace are gone. She stole my fucking clothes. I'm not spending the night here.
What the fuck? How the fuck did she get in?
I don't know. Your ass got in. So I'm sorry I haven't said anything in a while. I've been staying in a motel about an hour outside of town. When I left the house that night, I just kept driving until I felt like it was far enough away to feel safe. I called a locksmith, but they weren't able to come out right away, and there's no way I was going back to the house without new locks. So I've been waiting it out here until I can go back. Basically doing nothing, jumping at every little sound and feeling crazy. Which is, someone just literally broke into your house and stole your clothes. Mm-hmm. I would be jumpy as well. So finally, a couple days ago, the locksmith came back and said he'd come out. So I checked out of the motel and got in my car to drive home. It was a pretty long drive back, and the closer I got to the woods, the worse I felt.
Yeah.
In my head, I knew going back was wrong, but I can't just leave for good. I don't know. I can't explain it. I can't leave. I don't expect anyone to understand. I don't even understand. Anyway, I drove past town and reached the woods where the road gets worse and harder to drive on. They get twisty as you drive up to the house, and you have to be careful not to hit a deer. I almost always see a dozen or deer on my drive, but today, there were none. Not a single deer in sight. In fact, the woods seemed a lot quieter than usual. I could have been imagining it, but something definitely seemed off. I was almost ready to turn around when something darted across the road. It was so fast that I wasn't sure what I saw at all. I panicked and swerved off the road and into a deep groove by the roadside. It's like a ditch.
Yeah.
But by the time I realized what had happened, the thing was gone. I have no idea what it was. It was just a blur, but it wasn't a deer. It was red. Red like blood.
What the fuck?
So he didn't take a picture of it.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, you're like, oh, yes. Worse, my car was stuck in my mom's old car, this weak little 2-wheel drive, and I couldn't manage to get it out of the groove.
Oh, shit.
I sat there for a long time trying to figure out what to do. I knew it wasn't a good idea to walk the rest of the way, but if I didn't, I'd miss a locksmith and I'd have to either spend the night in the house with old locks or go back to the motel, which I couldn't afford. It wasn't too far from my house, so I made the most sense to walk the rest of the way and call a tow truck from home. I needed to meet the locksmith anyway, so I got out and I just started walking. Once I was outside, I realized I'd been right about the woods seemed quieter than usual. I couldn't hear any birds. It was dead silent. My footsteps seemed so loud. Every twig that cracked under my shoe sounded like a bone breaking.
Oh, I hate that.
I was periodically checking my phone's GPS to make sure I was headed the right way. I had just rechecked my route and was about to put my phone away when I saw something that made my heart sink. It was one of those artifacts, like the ones I'd seen on my first day here, but it had one of my gloves tied to it from the rainstorm last week. When I left my clothes by the fire to dry, there were a pair of gloves with them. So I knew that the woman had taken my clothes that night, and this just confirmed it. I also knew I'd find the rest of my clothes before I even saw them, and sure enough, I found more of those artifacts not far from the first. I found my other glove, my socks, and a bandana. Everything from the night except for a sweatshirt I'd been wearing. I left them alone this time. I didn't want to touch them at all, these artifacts. All I wanted to do was get back to the house, get the locks changed, and call a tow truck. I started jogging a bit, wanting nothing more than to just get away from those stick things. But after a while, I started to think I should have been home already. I slowed my pace and took out my phone, but it wouldn't calibrate this time. It couldn't seem to locate me in the GPS. Still, I could hear the lake off to my left, which meant if I kept walking alongside it, I should get to my house eventually, so I kept moving and tried not to think about getting lost. I mostly gotten turned around because I was walking for what seemed like ages. I found myself in a part of the woods that seemed very unfamiliar. I had no idea where I was, and then suddenly I saw something off in the distance. Something bright, white, almost seeming to glow against the dark trees. I couldn't figure out what it was from the distance, so when I got closer, trying to be as quiet as I could, when I actually got close enough to see what it was, my mouth literally fell open. It was eggs. Huge eggs, all in a cluster like a nest. They were enormous. It's hard to explain their size, but you can sort of see them in a relation to my boot here, which he takes a picture of these giant eggs. And his boots in the picture. I felt like I was dreaming, but before I knew what I was doing, I touched one. I couldn't help myself. It was warm. I had a sudden urge to smash it to see what was inside, but then I quickly decided against it. I felt sick, like I was going to throw up if I didn't leave right away. I left the clearing and tried to listen for the lake, then headed in that direction. I got to the lake shore and felt a little better. Since I was out of the trees, I had a better view of my surroundings, and I was able to pinpoint my house away down from the shore. I never thought I'd be so happy to see it. The rest of the way back, I felt like I had vertigo. I couldn't make sense of anything that had just happened. I still can't. I reached the house and somehow felt a little better once I was inside. The locksmith arrived a little bit later and changed the locks. I was watching him work in a daze. I also had him install deadbolts, which is smart. I called a tow truck and they got my car out of the ditch. But now I'm home alone again, and I can't stop thinking about what I saw. Which, they just look like giant, like dinosaur eggs.
Literally what I was just thinking. But I'm trying to think. If someone could make something like that, how would you keep that warm in the forest? It's like, there's no way to explain that.
No, it's just weird.
And it's a lot.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. Yeah, when I got to the part, I was like, oh, the giant eggs in the middle of the forest. That's weird. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah.
5, 6, 7,
so
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 13 of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to think. I think I was going crazy too.
That's so crazy.
All right, to continue. I heard something. Someone was outside. Lord, it's your face. You're like, fuck. I was in the kitchen washing a glass and I heard something outside on the deck. A scratching sound. And then it stopped. I thought I imagined it, but then I heard footsteps. And for some reason, I just ran outside without thinking. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't even know if I'm scared anymore. I just want answers. I can't be sure, but I think it was her. I saw someone running into the woods. I'm sure it was her, but I couldn't catch her in time. I thought about chasing her into the woods, but decided against it. I don't want to get lost out there at night. I turned around to go back inside, and that's when I saw what she had been doing on my deck in the first place. I shouldn't be surprised by these artifacts, but this one was huge, taller than me, and it had my sweatshirt from the storm tied in the middle. So it's basically the image, because I took a picture of it. It's like a giant triangle. I mean, like 5 feet, right? And there is like a his sweater tied to the middle of it, and then behind it, in black ink or charcoal, it says "Fear the New Moon."
I don't know what to think of that.
Yeah, so honestly, I was just gonna leave it there. I'm sick of this. I was about to go back inside, but I noticed there was something written on the wall behind the artifact I hadn't seen before, and it said "Fear the New Moon." What the fuck does that mean? I don't know where that. Yeah, literally. Yeah, I don't know where that woman got a fucking marker, and I don't like how fucking familiar she feels around my house and property. I hate that I considered this my house now, that this feels normal now. I'm losing it. I want this to end. Whatever this new moon shit is, it feels like something's coming. Fuck this.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Is this on?
Yeah, the little artifact.
I'm sorry, I missed it. Is it on the porch? Where is this?
Yeah, it's on this porch. Okay. On this like deck. Yeah.
I hate this.
So, update. It says there's going to be a storm tomorrow. The new moon is tomorrow too.
Oh my god.
I should be fine if I stay inside. Update. It's been storming all day and into the night, so this is the new moon night. Thunder and everything. I've stayed inside all day. Nothing has happened yet. Maybe nothing will happen. Still, I'm nervous. I've been freaking out all day. Maybe I shouldn't have stayed. I don't know what's wrong with me. I should leave tomorrow. I'm not even really sure what I'm saying. I just need to occupy myself with something. Writing this makes me feel less alone. It's like I'm talking to someone. I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving tomorrow, first thing in the morning. I don't care about selling this house anymore. I just want to go home. I just need to make it through the night. I'll be fine if I stay inside. The locks are new and nobody can get in. I'll be fine. I'm just going to get some wine and stay in the upstairs bedroom tonight. It'll be okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We don't know where this bitch is. It's raining. I don't like any of this.
She's here. She's in the cellar.
I'm gonna throw up and die.
She's in the cellar, Dolores. Look at the picture. You can see the back of her head. There she is. Look at her. Look at her. She's terrifying.
Oh my god, I have I have goosebumps right now. Oh my god, imagine walking into that and seeing that. I can't even.
Yeah. So he goes, fuck, I practically ran right into her. She didn't even hear me because of the thunder outside.
Bullshit, she probably does and is ignoring your ass right now.
Yeah. Her back was to me and she was standing dead in the middle of the room, just staring at the wall. I couldn't move. I was petrified. All I could do was stand there like a fool and stare at the back of her head. And then she turned around.
Stop.
And she spoke to me. She said she won't hurt me. She said that she'd explain everything. I'm sorry this is all happening so fast. She's sitting in my living room right now. I can't believe this is happening.
What? Wait a minute.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sense of this. She said she'll tell me everything. Okay, so I'll try to relay everything that she said, but there was so much of it, I can barely keep track of it all. I'll start at the beginning. You ready, Dolores?
Yeah.
For why this is all happening? All right. First, she says she made the stick things for my protection. She says it's dangerous out here, and she was trying to protect me. And then when I asked what she was trying to protect me from, she sat there quiet for a long time. Then she finally replied, and I could barely hear her, "There are things in the water." I didn't believe her, but I didn't have any rational explanation for the things I've seen, so instead, I just listened. And here's what she told me. A long time ago, something came from the sky and landed in the lake. It brought something with it, something ancient and strange. So to break this tension a little bit, tell me why when I was doing this research, I was listening to Spotify and a song came on, and the song was called Crown of Sparrows, and the lyric that repeats often in it is, "The water's fine, the water's fine, the water's fine."
Ew, I hate that. Ew, I hate that. I hate that. I hate that.
I was doing the research, that turned on for me, and it kept playing it.
Mm-mm.
That literally scared the shit. I had to stop doing research and change the song.
Mm-mm. I hate that.
Too close of a synchronicity for me.
Oh, seriously.
Yeah. So she says, again, a long time ago something came from the sky and landed in the lake. It brought something with it, something ancient and strange. A long time ago, people who lived here began to commune with it. They protected it from the outside world, devoted their lives to it, and in return, they gave the thing, the thing gave them a gift. The people were blessed with abnormally long, healthy lives and many children, but it all came with a price. I had so many questions, but didn't know which ones to ask, so I just sat there in silence and took it all in. The woman continued. In the beginning, there was just the one. I spent most of the time, it spent most of its time deep in the lake, slumbering. But over time, it made more. Instinctively, I asked about the eggs that I saw in the woods, and the woman nodded. There are so many of them now, she said. They come from the water to lay eggs, and the people take care of them. They hide them away until they hatch, but when they hatch, they need to feed. At this point, I was starting to put two and two together. I thought about all the twins I've seen in town. They must have sensed my understanding because she must have sensed my understanding because she spoke again. I told you there was a price. The people in the town are blessed with many children, but they don't get to keep them all. When the eggs hatch, the people must bring one of their own into the woods because the creatures need to eat. She got real quiet again. They start with your eyes. Dolores having an epiphany. I asked her how she knew all this, but I already knew the answer. I know it because it happened to me, she said. When I was a girl, my father brought me into the woods with the others, and they offered me up to the newborns. She turned her head to the window like she was gazing into the distance. They took my eyes. I waited until she was ready to speak again. It was long before she did. She told me how she was led to one of the eggs, how she watched it break open, how something came out of it, and before she knew it, something was on her, burrowing into her eyes. She wasn't sure what happened next. She only remembers the searing of pain, and then suddenly she was free. She doesn't know if she managed to push the creature off or if someone helped her, but she got away and ran into the woods. She ran until she couldn't breathe anymore. She was too scared to go home, so she stayed in the woods. Eventually the forest became her home, and she's been there ever since.
Wow.
I felt completely bewildered. None of this made any sense to me.
Literally.
But at the same time, it did somehow. I had so many questions I wanted to ask, but I couldn't sort my thoughts. I couldn't figure out what to say. Finally, I asked, "Why are you telling me this now after all this time?" The woman didn't say anything at first. She took a long, labored breath. "It's the same every year," she said. "They come out of the water in the fall, lay their eggs, and a few of them begin to hatch early. They feed on animals in the woods. They need strength to make it back to the water. But most of them hatch when it's darkest." She turned to me. Even without eyes, it felt like she was staring right into me. "Tonight is the new moon," she whispered. "Tonight is the ceremony." My stomach began to sink in realization as realization set in. Realization was about what was happening out there in the woods at that very moment. "We have to do something to stop it," I blurted out. I started to get out of my chair, but she just shook her head. She said there was nothing we could do. "It happens the same way every year. We can't stop it." But I wasn't listening anymore. I don't know what came over me, but I jumped out and ran out the door, ran into the woods, and I don't even know where I was going. At some point, the rain had stopped. It was dark and I couldn't see anything, but I could hear things all around me, things moving through the trees, and I could see lights in the distance, fire or flashlights, I don't know. I had no idea where I was going or what I was doing. More than once, something ran by me in the trees. I was using my phone as a flashlight and trying to take pictures of the trees, trying to see what was out there, but everything was happening so fast. I don't know what these are. Yeah. You see them, Dolores? Yeah, so for the viewers out there, they kind of look like 5-foot red fleshy monsters that walk on their they're like bipeds, so they walk on their 2 feet, and they have like a million sharp teeth in their mouth. And there's one really close-up one that's really blurry, and it's really terrifying. And they're also, their eyes reflect like, you know, like a deer or something. So
But that close-up one doesn't even look like they have eyes. That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
Like they're just like just sockets. There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're freaky. So he said, "I ran for what seemed like an eternity. I ran in circles. I had no idea where I even was. And then somehow I was back in the same clearing where the eggs had been, but they were gone now. Nothing but bits of shell left on the ground. It was over. I was too late. It had already happened and they'd cleaned up everything. I was too late. I stood alone in the clearing. The lights in the distance were disappearing. It was getting quieter. And just like that, I was running again, running toward the lake. I don't even know why. I couldn't do anything. Branches scraped my faces as I ran blindly through the trees. I reached the water, but there was nothing there. I saw some faint ripples out in the black water, but besides that, it was silent. It was over. I was too late. I'm back at the house now. The woman is gone. It's so quiet. I don't know what to say right now. I'm going to leave in the morning. I'm sorry, I just don't know what else to say. I'm sorry. Update. I'm still here. I'm alive. I left the house after that night. I decided not to sell it. I don't think anybody would buy it anyway. I locked the doors, I got in my car and left. I'm home now, just trying to process everything. The morning after, it was so quiet and peaceful in the woods, like nothing had happened at all. I'm still not sure what to believe. It sort of feels like it happened to someone else, or like I dreamed it maybe. Sorry it took me long for an update. I wasn't sure what to say. I still have many questions. I may not ever have the answers. But something happened out there. I can't explain it. I don't know if I could have done anything to stop it. But whatever it was, I can't let it happen again. That's why I'm not selling the house. That woman said this happens every year. If she's telling the truth, then maybe there's something I can do next time. I have to try. So I guess that's all for now. I'm headed back to school next week, so hopefully that'll take my mind off things. I need some sense of normalcy again. I'm not sure when I'll tweet again. I need to take a break and get my head together, but I'll be back. I have to go back. I won't let it happen again. That tweet was last posted January 16th of 2019.
And that's it.
That's it. That's the end.
Wow, that was recent.
Yeah. And that's the end of the town with no eggs.
I have so many questions.
But it was crazy, wasn't it? Wasn't that crazy?
What the fuck?
Wasn't that a crazy case?
What the fuck?
Yeah, that'll leave you thinking a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, I have a lot of questions. So, okay. They feed their. Okay, let me start over. This whole town is in on this, then.
Yeah, the whole town is in on it.
That's why he's the outsider.
Yeah.
Okay. The no eggs thing, though, is it due to this whole thing about them feeding and whatnot?
Maybe it's because these things come out of eggs, and so the town doesn't like to eat eggs because they kind of like harbor and like love eggs or eggs, this egg shape. So maybe that's why they don't sell eggs because of that reason.
Okay.
That could be a reason why.
So then, you had mentioned a couple set of twins. So
maybe they sacrifice one twin and keep the other.
But you said the sets were there though. You talked about 2 sets of twins.
Yeah.
So unless they have another child or something, like they just have to give up one, right?
Yeah, they just have to give up one. They need to sacrifice because one of the blessings was that this being that fell from the stars into this water would give them big families, and like what else did he say? It would also give them like
long lives.
Long lives.
Uh-huh.
I guess just one child, and that also explains the eyeball in the water. Maybe, well, I don't know. It didn't quite look like a human eyeball, but maybe. Remember, she did say that it starts with the eyes.
Yeah.
So maybe when these things were hatching before the new moon, it attacked a deer or another animal and gouged out its eyes.
Okay. Wow.
And that's where that eyeball came from. And the people in the water on the boat make a whole lot of sense because maybe they were protecting or checking on these creatures that are in the water and staring at homeboy that was on the lake edge because they already know he's an outsider and why is he staring at us? And we need to watch him.
What the fuck?
And maybe these protection sigils were actually protecting him.
Yeah. Wow.
It also makes you think, what about the grandpa? Was the grandpa in on this?
I totally forgot. Blackwater.
Yeah, Blackwater Chapel.
Yeah, what's up with the chapel shit?
Maybe it is a cult. The Blackwater Chapel cult. Maybe he was part of it. Maybe that's why the mom doesn't want to talk about any of this because maybe she experienced it. Or maybe she comes from this type of family and she was one that survived and maybe her sister or brother or something were the ones that died.
Whoa.
Or maybe he passed away, the grandfather did, because he left the town and he was no longer able to live a longer life. See?
There's so many things.
Yeah. It's wild.
It's intense.
Yeah. It's a crazy story.
But it's freaking me out that it's recent though.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And where is this town again?
I don't know. Where's the menu at? Because I think I've tried looking up it's called the Homestead, All American Homestead Diner since 1953. So this has been going on for a long time.
Why does this bitch have to be so creepy too, by the way? She could have been nice from the very beginning and be like, hey, I'm trying to protect you. There's these things going on. No, this bitch had to be so fucking creepy and make it look like she's being fucking sketchy as hell. Like she's gonna kill his ass.
Oh, God.
God.
Yeah.
Okay,
So...
Homestead Diner.
Yeah, I honestly don't know where it's, but it's a crazy case, and I'm really glad I was able to tell you and our campers, and I'm really hoping you guys really liked it. And I know I kind of wanted to tell this joke, this story. Sorry, I'm looking up a joke. That's why I said that. Because I know the United States government just released like a bunch of case files for aliens and stuff. So that's why I want to talk about like a kind of paranormal alien case for y'all today. What?
They have a Twitter feed.
For what? The Homestead Diner?
Yes.
Really?
They have one tweet. Just one. I don't know if someone created it because of this or whatever. They have no followers, no anything.
The connection dropped.
Oh,
right as you were gonna say it.
Damn it. Okay, so it's the tweet, his tweet. They totally forgotten the eggs on the Eggs Benedict. It was just ham and holidays, and it's his picture, right, of his tweet.
Yeah.
And with the thread, they replied, "That's how it's fucking prepared, Greg."
That's creepy as fuck.
So, and then their little description just says, Homestead Diner since 1953. We hate eggs. Don't order them.
Whoa.
That's
weird.
And they joined October 2017, and Greg's tweet it's a year later. So
yeah, it's a year later, yeah.
Why do they have no like I said, they have 15 followers. They're not following anyone. Greg's tweet was a year later. Why the fuck do they have a Twitter?
That's weird. I don't know. It's definitely this case is something that's freaking terrifying.
I'm hella freaked. I'm not gonna fucking lie.
No, it's that's what I mean. It's a freaky ass case. So that's why I want to talk about it. But I'm glad you liked it. Something a lot different from what we normally do. That's for damn sure. So to break this creepiness, this spooky vibe, let me tell a joke. It's joke time, campers. As Dolores is literally having an existential crisis. Who is screaming?
I heard that. Oh, someone's getting fed to the fucking things.
Someone's getting fed to the things.
I hate my life.
It's my mom. My mom's getting fed to the things. Okay. What do stars say when they apologize to one another?
What do stars do? Sorry for flashing you?
No, they say, I'm starry.
Oh, that's cute.
That's cute. What do you say if you want to start a fight in space?
I don't know.
Comment me, bro.
Shut the fuck up. Oh, that's stupid.
I love it. Let's see. Let's do one more. Let's find one. You might know this one. Where do stars go to get their milk? Where do stars go to get their milk?
Where?
The Milky Way, dork.
Oh my fucking god.
I was hoping you were going to get that, but you didn't, damn it.
I can't even.
Well, thank you, campers, for listening, and I really hope you like our corny jokes. They're always the best. Thank you. And if you don't like them, then you don't like them. I can't make you like them. But thank you guys for listening. You can follow us on Instagram at campinsomnia_podcast. You can also find our what in the bio.
Our Linktree, and it will have every single place we are there on. Everything.
Exactly. Everything. Yeah, and I really hope you like this. And if you have any like theories, like, you should DM us so we can talk about it.
Yeah, definitely, because I'm like, my head is stirring right now. Oh my god.
Yeah. It is wild. But thank you guys for listening. Also, next episode is episode 31, and we're going to be doing some sleep paralysis stuff.
Yes.
So look forward to that.
Start diving into all that stuff.
Yep, and start talking about your guys' stories, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So look forward to that. But yeah, so good luck trying to sleep tonight.
Shit, I know I am. Oh my god, I ain't going to the forest for a while. I'm not. Oh.
Yeah, that's right. You don't go to the forest, and don't go swimming in lakes that have eyeballs floating in them.
Yeah, and don't fucking mess with any giant eggs if you come across them. Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Exactly. Who knows? But you know what? No one thought about. Imagine he was there when one of them hatched.
I would have fucking died.
Exactly.
Oh my
he
god.
He literally would have died.
Uh-huh.
But anyways, campers, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening. And Dolores and I will catch you next time.
Yeah, we'll catch
Bye,
you
campers.
next time. Bye.
Bye. We like eggs.
We do.